Hello and welcome to this short video about Jaguar XK8 and how I fit my crankshaft pulley. This is episode 28 in my series of short videos about how I change my cam chains and tensioners. And in this one, I basically go into the details how I tightened it up, reached the torque, and actually tried to seal it without an O-ring. Okay, so what I used is a very long bar, a ratchet torque wrench rated up to 350 Newton meters, a 24mm socket, my specially designed crankshaft pulley locking tool, and also not shown on this was a M16 tap and some thread lock. So first of all, the tap, make sure you got the right one. It's M16 by 2mm pitch. You can check it against your old bolt to make sure before you start trying to tap out the thread. So then you basically introduce your tap. You don't need to use a tap wrench at this point. Just move it in and out and try and clear all the rough swarf. You will actually have to bottom it all the way out. You will need to put a spanner on that to get it all the way home. But it will clear out, not any metal, but it will clear out the old thread lock. So in order to make sure you've done it correctly, I suggest using I use the old bolt and make sure I can get all the way home, because obviously all the thread lock's gone off this bolt. I was able to do that and move it freely by hand. All the way out, no problems. Next is some particulars you didn't really understand about the car. It was the lack of components on my car compared to the diagrams and the manuals. So first of all, my car didn't have a locking cone, and it didn't have a slot or a recess inside the crankshaft pulley for this damper O-ring. So first of all, I was wondering what the torque was, but then I noticed there's a small note here. Without the locking cone, it isn't the 364 to 386 Newton meters. It's actually 80 Newton meters plus 80. So, oh, good grief, I've just spent all this money on my 350 Newton meters torque bar, and maybe I didn't need it. So first of all, to try and address the sealing issue, I noticed there was some sort of residue on the crankshaft as I took the pulley off. So I thought I might introduce some thread lock onto there to assist with the sealing. So I basically poured thread lock into the bore of the crankshaft pulley and then allowed that to slide out to the front. You can see here a bit of a build-up as I've put it on. Hopefully that when that goes solid, it'll act as some sort of seal in the absence of the O-ring, which is not present on my assembly. Next, I screwed in the new bolt as far as I could by hand. Then I fitted the crankshaft pulley locking tool that I made myself. One word of warning: these cap screws, please don't put too long a ones in and put a hole in your front engine cover, or let it bind against it. You need to make sure the lengths are correct. Then I actually introduced the M24 socket, and I tightened this up as much as I could without doing any massive torque. Then in order to put the torque on itself, I attached a large bar onto the crankshaft pulley locking tool in order to keep that steady. I put that underneath my shoulder and grabbed the other end of the bar and pulled that for all my life. Obviously 80 Newton meters isn't that much. It didn't take much to attain the 80 Newton meters, and I thought, oh good grief, right, I've got to put 80 degrees on. So I made some markings and tried to pull 80 degrees. Now that's quite difficult. So what I ended up doing was I set my torque wrench to its maximum 350 Newton meters, thinking that I'd probably be some way under that until I got to my 80 degrees. I actually found I was hitting the 350 Newton meters and giving it some more to get 80 degrees. So in my experience, this 80 Newton meters plus 80 and 364 is actually very similar, and maybe due to the lack of a torque wrench. So it's a bit of a useful note if anybody wants to torque up to 364. 80 Newton meters plus 80, in my experience with my car, everybody's car is different, was very similar, if not the same. Okay, so then I took everything off. There was some slight bolt damage to the cap screws. Obviously, applying 350 Newton meters plus did bend them a bit, but I got them out no problem. There was no damage to the pulley, and hopefully everything's sealed and I won't get an oil leak. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully it was informative and useful to you. If you liked it, please comment. If you have some advice, no problem. Please share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell if you'd like to see more XK8 videos.